A building straight out of a fairy tale that has lasted over 150 years towering above its surroundings, only to be worn down by negligence and vandalism. In today's Urbandoned video, we are looking at Preston's abandoned Park Hotel, once a railway-owned property that would impress visitors with its exemplary architecture and vast hallways. Now, it sits derelict and struggling, so we were keen to get inside to discover what remained.
Alistair,
What?
have you heard that 85% of people are not subscribed?
You're joking? They need to hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell to never miss a video. Hi guys, I just wanted to take a moment to talk about HelloFresh, who we can thank for sponsoring today's episode. As a uni student living away from home, it can be quite a hassle sometimes to cook for myself and give my body the right nutrients and vitamins it needs. I'm sure a lot of people can relate. Sometimes you're very busy, or perhaps you're just a bit lazy and you just fancy getting an unhealthy takeout. HelloFresh pretty much covers all of this, giving you pre-portioned ingredients and easy to prepare meals for breakfast, lunch and dinner. It comes straight to your door, and it's cheaper than grocery shopping and 25% cheaper than the average takeout. You're also getting seasoned ingredients, which means that they're picked at peak ripeness, so hopefully you'll notice that quality difference in taste. There are over 40 different recipes for you to try, so there's something for everybody. If you're interested, see the link in the description. I know I'll be trying it out when I move back to uni. And if you're from the US, you can use our unique code to get a special discount. Thanks again to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's episode. Hi everyone, just a brief announcement before this video begins. Obviously we have a huge catalogue of locations that we filmed over the past 5 years, and the backlog's always growing. During summer we have some more time, so we decided to upload one video a week for the next 6 weeks, and the video will be up every Friday at 6 PM. To repeat, that's a brand new video every single week. The last time we did this was winter 2018, so I hope you're as excited as we are to see constant content from us. In today's release, we're sharing an abandoned hotel with working electricity that me and Theo visited back in 2020. In summer 2020, we had been told that the Grand Hotel had closed down, its last use being council offices. Upon arrival, we could see the building was virtually untouched on the outside, with next to no vandalism and only untainted overgrowth as a clear indicator that it sat defunct. We were familiar with the grounds, as a few months prior we had been on site, yet the main attraction was inaccessible. Instead, our focus had turned to the 60s office block besides the former hotel, that had been shuttered years earlier. This dodgy GoPro footage is all the proof we have that we were able to climb up to the roof of that structure, before it was demolished only months afterwards. Inside, nothing was left, and each floor was an empty concrete shell. On the roof, however, the views were impeccable, particularly northwards, where we could peer over at our primary target's massive turret. months onward and we were back, the office building now well under demolition. We desperately wanted to see what lay inside Park Hotel, having seen no internal photographs at all. A window had been left ajar, and we were able to squeeze within the complex, excited and ready to see what it contained.
These such hotel-esque corridors. Huge, tall, with these nice doorways that will take you into the bedrooms. Obviously the bedrooms aren't looking in the same state as the rest of it, but you get the idea. Wow. This room's nice. Look at that pillar. See slight signs of vandalism on the glass. But as a whole, for a building this size and where it is in the city, it's good that it's remained in great condition so it can be changed in the future.
It seemed that some renovations had occurred, perhaps during the council's occupancy. However, many ornate features had been retained in abundance, such as the fireplaces and corridor tiling.
It's a bit of a tense one. As you can see, workers are moving around outside and we don't really want to get seen by them. The fireplaces share the same style of architecture with the tiling. And there's marble on this one too. That's quite interesting. They obviously did police dog training and this place first became abandoned. Behind the reception booth, straight away faced with this beautiful staircase, tiling lining the lower walls, and the ceiling's not half bad too. There's not much in here, but it's definitely an architecture based place. Wow. Yeah, this entrance was definitely worth seeing. Some nice stained glass up there. In a beautiful dome as well. I assume this little outer part would be nice too, but it's been completely stripped all the way down to the brick. Wow, this is definitely some sort of ballroom. And it remains in great condition. The ceiling looks brand new.
The hotel opened in 1883, owned jointly by the Lancashire and Yorkshire and London and North Western Railway companies. When the UK's railways were nationalised in the late 1940s, it was sold to British Transport Hotels, who continued to take in visitors for decades.
Wall 1, as you can see. But you know what? This one is almost better than the one downstairs. There's less clutter. It's very stripped up here, just glancing at some of these rooms though.
Eventually, the building was sold to the Lancashire County Council after the change of the century, who used it for offices until closure, most likely to be due to the old-fashioned premises having structural failures and costing too much to maintain.
Now on the second floor, I'm more comfortable looking at the demolition. Jesus Christ. There seems to be a strange way of demolishing a building. I bet there's people in there because the door's open at the bottom and it's never been before. Obviously we've already done that building. And you'll probably see some footage of us on the roof midway through this video. That's crazy. It was only a few months ago when we were on the roof. Wow. Look at these arches. I quite like big empty spaces with little clutter and just nice architecture. And this place pretty much sums up that. I like these little details on the walls. I wonder what they signify. It's sad that this stained glass hasn't survived. Kids have been throwing rocks at it like a target. This gives you a much better view of the demolition of that building. You can see how much further it would have gone and what's been taken down. We didn't go on this corridor on the level below because it's a bit too close to the security's car, but I think these would have been the nicest rooms for the hotel. They're much more spacey. And then at the opposite end it gets a bit cramped.
Progressing through the hotel, we were skipping many rooms that offered nothing to document. It was never long before we returned to the wonderful staircase, the biggest highlight of the structure.
Someone at some point has tried to protect this banister with ball wrap. Yes, it's all coming off. It is a nice banister though. This makes sense. Although this is the first bit of stuff we've probably found. From what I was aware, after the place was a hotel for maybe 10-20 years, it was like a council and building where like social workers would work. So these signs kind of add up. I'm glad that the stained glass is intact here too, rather than on the floor below. The third floor does lose its tiling. I've noticed that on all the floors, a lot of the rooms are quite identical. Like this room here with the piping is on the same place each floor up. You might recognise it from the cinematics I got. I'm hoping that the next floor, which is like going into the huge roof, will contain Some new architecture. It's a bit different up here. The roof takes up part in most of the rooms. Christ. So many workers down there. You'd get quite amazing views from the upper floors of the hotel. This definitely would have been an office. They planted so many sockets along all the walls. One bit of this place I'm interested in are the turrets. I think there's 3, maybe 2. This should take us into one. Wow, the architecture changes quite abruptly. Now it looks like I'm in a church. Look at those odd windows there. So many spider webs on those. Wow. This is so cool up here. Just a room full of windows. Nothing else. Apart from a little hatch in the ceiling that would take you to the next level. I doubt we're going to go up to that though. Some of this graffiti scratched into the wood. May 2005. There's even more. 1951. 2009. I wonder if it is true. The 1951 one's amazing. Even more graffiti. 99. Oh, this was really old. '73 and '72. They rewired this building. JJ Cross Electrical. Something Preston. That is cool. Just electricians coming up here and letting people know when they did their work.
That was all for the imposing hotel. Although it was mostly stripped, it is a very historic structure in the city, worthy of capturing, having stood proudly atop its hill overlooking Preston for a century and a half. Construction was supposed to be taking place to restore the building to its original purpose, but as we saw more recently when we recorded our drone footage, it seems works have stalled. The property is in a poor condition, with a lack of protection allowing vandals free rein, and you would do well to find a window that isn't smashed. Hopefully, the damage doesn't mean the building is past the point of saving, and it can become a hotel once again. Here are some of our photographs from the abandoned hotel. If you like the look of them, check out our Instagram page in the description, where we share images from our explores months before they are seen on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We are doing one more week of weekly uploads, so we will see you at the same time next Friday. We hope you have enjoyed the constant content from us all summer. See you next time.